right, Peter. Well, it really depends on where you are in the country. Here in Kharkiv, this was seen as less of a surprise. Missile strikes on the second largest city in Ukraine is a weekly occurrence. So this morning when we heard 5 explosions targeting the Kharkiv region's energy infrastructure, triggering power outages throughout the region, wasn't necessarily a surprise. In Kyiv, though, the capital was a totally different story. Multiple missile strikes raining down on civilian housing, thoroughfares, a playground, one of the main passageways people like to walk across, all struck and damaged by these missiles. People there were completely terrified. Now, in terms of, was this a surprise to Ukrainian officials? Well, not necessarily. According to Ukrainian intelligence, they had intelligence that on October 2nd and October 3rd, the Russians were preparing for a large missile attack on civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. So this idea that President Putin is saying this was a retaliation for the Kerch bridge attack that took place over the weekend, Ukrainian officials are questioning that. They say that the Russians had this in the works for some days before.
And Aaron, take us to the ground right now. What is the situation specifically as it relates to Kyiv right now? Are people still in those bunkers, those underground subways right now for their own safety?
You know, people there in Kyiv are on edge. They were terrified, many of them, during the day at the sounds of the sirens, took to the metro stations, once again doubling as a bomb shelter, scenes that we haven't seen really since the early days of this war. But it was really interesting as the sirens subsided, people emerging from those metro stations, really continuing daily life as usual. You could see people out at the cafes, even an old woman out on the streets cleaning up some of the rubble. People very quickly bounced back. Ukrainians are proud of their resiliency, Peter.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.